Hello, everyone. I am just coming on live, and I've only shared it to myself because it's pretty late at night now. It's approximately 11:24 p.m. my time. So once I'm done, I'll share it. I'll open it privately, but I didn't. I mean, I'll open it publicly, but I didn't want to disturb anybody. I don't know how this works with Facebook Live anymore. So it's been a while since I've been on. But I wanted to come on to give you guys an update, and I do have my notes in different areas. I'm Terry Brewer Jr. I have been battling this long extended racial discrimination that's turned into an eviction case that's turned into it turned into an illegal eviction that turned into an eviction case. So I just wanted to give you guys some an update, and also I have to be I'm going to have to be careful of my words legally, I believe, because there were two cases. So one case is closed, the other one is open. It goes before the same judge that presided on the first case. Well, technically it would be the second case. My case would be the first case, which was filed on January the 2nd. And the second case, which is my mother's case, was filed on January the 21st, I believe. And I'm claiming it is my allegation that she did it off of retaliation. And not only did she do it off of retaliation, she forged a rental agreement with an expiration date and all that stuff. But let me get to my notes so I can stay on task with what's important, because she overwhelmed the courts with a sworn statement too as well. And the sworn statement had about 70 something different points to it, and it's either lie, false, misleading, 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 lie, false, or misleading, period. So I ask for your prayers as I go into this to let you know what happened. So with the case that closed, it was seen by Judge Betsy Benson. I believe I'm pronouncing her name correctly. And that was on the 24th of February. And with that in particular, just reviewing my notes too as well. It said that at hearing, the plaintiff, which would be my mother now, I'm the first plaintiff, January the 2nd. She's the second plaintiff that came with her case, January the 21st, with the case of eviction stating that my rental agreement was expired. So this is the closing because it says the order granting defendant's motion to dismiss the order of dismissal, to dismiss an order of dismissal without prejudice with directives to plaintiff. So it says at hearing, the plaintiff testified that she was not sure the rental agreement was the current agreement, defendant entered the current lease into evidence as defendant's one in evidence. That agreement is the operating agreement between the parties. So it's one thing I want to underline is that there's a difference, because what I've claimed the entire time is that it was forged. What I claimed in the courts is that it was forged. What I asked for was for sanctions. Being careful to stay respectful to the court and to my knowledge of the law or any of that stuff. And then again, there's a case that goes before the courts on March the 26th by the same judge at 11, not 11, excuse me, at 1 p.m. So there is a difference from current and forged. So if an officer pulls you over and they ask you for your current license and registration, right? So license, registration, insurance, and you pull out your insurance and then you go to court. Well, it wasn't the current insurance. It showed that that insurance was correct. It's not a problem, but it wasn't the current car insurance that you had. Okay. Versus, no, what you showed to the police officer wasn't your insurance, period. It was forged. So this is the difference. So the term of agreement was, I was claiming it was for, well, she claimed that it expired in 2025. And I only did a screenshot of a cutting of the term because this was the most important thing. And I don't even want to paraphrase what the I don't even want to paraphrase what the judge said because I don't want to mischaracterize the judge. But it is my understanding that this was too small of an error of an area for it to be called or for it to be looked at as forgery or something. Forgery, I'm not sure if she said it like that or for her to make the decisions for sanctions. Again, I have to go back to my notes. I didn't do that because this is completely overwhelming already, and I didn't want to get too far into it. And I didn't want to hold you all while you're listening at the same time. So this is my mother's, which it shows 2005. So I submitted something to the courts that she was doing an illegal eviction, which telling me to get out when she was breaching the contract, the rental agreement. What I had an extended rental agreement that did not expire until 2009. By January the 16th, I filed for a motion to enforce the rental agreement. Okay. And by the 21st, which was the retaliatory act that I was claiming, she filed a motion to a summons of eviction or something, 5 days. It was one of those things where if you did not respond to it, by default, BSO, our sheriff's office, Broward County Sheriff's Office, would come. That's it. Like if you didn't see it, if you didn't respond to it, one of those things is that it's in and out quick. So, and for some reason, just adding this information, she kept telling the process server, one of the process servers, I think she told one of the process servers, as if I was dangerous or something. Made it seem as if you needed to serve me at a distance. And if I wasn't monitoring with my own case to see my name pop up for a second case that she started, I would have never been on top of me being summoned for an eviction of an agreement that was forged and submitted to the courts. So that's hers, stating that it was 1 year. And this is what I showed the courts, which was the 2009, because it stated it goes further, and I think I said it. Well, yeah, it states that the defendant entered the current lease into evidence as defendants one in evidence. So the current lease, which expires in 2009, that agreement is the operating agreement between the parties. Is saying, right? That's cool. But the problem I have is that in that whole duration, it only by the time I left out, it only lists one exhibit. When the day before the filing, the day before the court, so February the 23rd, I had up to, this is defendant's declaration of exhibits 13 through 14. So I had already 14 exhibits. However, the official exhibit list says I only came in with one exhibit. So I'm just concerned. I'm concerned. Am I being hurt? Because it doesn't in the decision. It doesn't say that the defendant asked for sanctions. However, it did not meet to the current. I would be okay with that. That's fine. But it's not in there. It's as if nothing ever happened. It's as if it was. Oh, it wasn't the current agreement. No, it wasn't an agreement. Period. Never signed it. No expiration date. That's not the right expiration date to it. It has nothing to do with me. And then on top of it, it's digitally edited. It's not like it's a verbal agreement. It's totally manipulated. It's a manipulated document, and it was submitted to the courts. For me, it was a big deal. I don't have this other page printed out. But another thing is that because the deputies did not allow us to go in did not allow me to go in until maybe about 11 minutes after, because we were waiting on all parties. It showed that I was sworn in at 1:11, and then my mother was sworn in at 1:24. So I was 1:11, she was 1:24. The thing is that she didn't get there until 1:24, 1:23, 1:22 p.m. So it's my understanding, like, okay, if you don't show up for your case, you got somebody that's in your house, and you don't show up for your case, you're trying to get rid of them and all this. This is really important. Like, literally, it doesn't fall in their favor. Okay, that's fine. Moving back to make sure I'm staying on target here, don't throw anybody off. Right, the judge and I had a motion to enforce within those 14 different exhibits. There was a motion to enforce my rental agreement. There was allegations. I believe that page could have been on my part. Definitely, I'm not. I'm not talking about the courts I don't see that page. There's a page 8. I think I responded in the 48 page, approximately 40 pages. My answer to the eviction that she was doing against me. So, which places me in a predicament, because the motion to enforce an agreement, just because there's an agreement exists, there was still no motion to enforce an agreement, which in January the 2nd, I filed the breach of contract because of an illegal agreement and the constructive eviction, and asked for, I didn't ask, my damages is relief for an motion to enforce an agreement. So I threw basically almost, like definitely 90% of that motion to enforce into the response to, okay, at least temporarily help me out to prevent me from being locked out of the house, because that's what she was saying. Selling the house, it's against the agreement. Help me out temporarily until we get this resolved. No response to any of that stuff. It was as if I never submitted anything but the Exhibit 1 that I showed you. And just to go in further, I didn't think anything of it because everything I was submitted along with an attested copy that was notarized, up to 14 exhibits, that was already submitted into court. I submitted that exhibit 1 that they're talking about is just the physical original copy that they made a copy of. I didn't think to question that until after I'm seeing the decision. I didn't think to question it. So let me just go further. Okay. Second to last, which is the most, it's really very important, where statements were made, sworn statements were made by my mother that's totally off. I plead, ask, beg of you. She made probably 5 pages or something. 5 pages or something, and there's bullets. I outline everything. I think my complaint that was filed January the 2nd, maybe close to 100 pages. I think I amended it towards before the 16th, definitely. And I think it ended up to be 123 pages or something. I'm a very detailed and outlined person. You can't give somebody multiple power of attorneys and then you just dog them out at the same time, and then, well, Terry does not pay rent at all. There's no bartering. There's no tax bartering. There's no in-kind services. There's no nothing. There's no money that's never gone in your name. I have to be careful to what I say because I'm going back to court basically for the same exact thing. I am just telling you as a public to please be mindful. You can't give somebody power of attorney. That's not going to happen. And my mother's not the type of person to be ran over. I feel, it is my opinion, in the courts that she made it appear as if she just didn't know anything about gadgets. Something about me emails. I have to go back in there, but I didn't want to touch down every line because I think it would throw everything off, to be honest with you. It's just misleading, false, just lies, all of it in it. It's just jumbled up to be just that. That's just my personal opinion. But the emails that I've created emails for her, that's fraudulent emails or something. One email address that she has that goes to her Outlook account had nothing to do with that. That needed to be, that's her stuff. Besides, yes, I was given power of attorney to do that if I needed to do that. Then she made it that I've been forging her name. I don't have to forge a name if you've given me power of attorney to sign my own name, POA Shelby. Well, I think it's Shelby Herring. Print her name, sign my name, POA for Shelby Herring. I don't have to forge her name for that. No matter what the opinion is going to be off of that, off of power of attorney, it doesn't matter. It's just the fact of that's what it is. She made the court seem as if she's not this gadget type person. She just doesn't know about the computers or anything. Okay, 40 years of nursing that you have to technically chart the patient's charts in computers. The last 20 years was really more high tech because they had an Apple phone as a Vitas nurse. And she had everything in this Apple phone that she needed to do from her supervisor and everything, that she has a patient that basically the patients are dying. Okay, with You can't be not tech savvy. Okay. So y'all sit around and believe, you know, the y'all as interviewers. I believe it is the court's. The court is supposed to have this open view, and you know, I'm not trying to go against anybody. I'm just trying to get justice. Not even justice. I think justice can be opinionated to the eye, to how I feel what it should be. I just accountability. So let me just get back on track here with the so another thing is the consumption of food. I'm bringing people in the house. Something about that she needs to lock up the refrigerator because I'm bringing people in the house. The last time I had somebody in this house was on around, personally for me, was around April 2020. I had to go back to my text messages. April 6th, approximately April 6th, 2023. I had dinner. I bought dinner myself, fixed the food myself, and then we decided to give it to her. I just went back through my text messages. I've been on this since 2020, where people have actually been telling me that your mom's talking about she taking care of you. You know, that's been whispered in my ear for some time. And the taxes, you know, I've been seeing that. I am not the person, especially seeing this for so long, fighting this for so long and trying to report the taxes and her taxes and all this kind of stuff, to take a dime. I promise you, I'm not. As a matter of fact, to even take 84 cents, you know, anytime we do a rent, the rent, and you'll see there's the monthly rent, but then there's the car payment, because the car, I think she has me on the car insurance, and it was $30.04 for the car insurance. From my understanding, it's no longer on there now. I don't think that I'm responsible for that, and especially since that went through the courts. There's this gray area whether or not it's her responsibility to take me off. I'm not driving the car. I don't know where that flies at. Either way, I even did that. That's something that I proactively did because I was told that she was being charged this. And I didn't want, don't say you're doing anything for Terry. So I don't know what this 80-something cents is, but there's always an outstanding balance until she started refusing to sign it, and that was like in December 2025. This was the outstanding balance of 84 cents. And she was saying, oh, Terry, don't worry about, no, not me. No, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. Please put 84 cents there so I can pay you your 84 cents back. I have no problem. That's just, I'm the paper person, you know, and I know the judge, people may be questionable to the legal, all the paperwork, to wow, this paperwork. Well, sometimes you have the legal person in the family. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you have the person who, you know what, this is how I look at it. You know, we have a thing called family dynamics. You can't respectfully, I don't think it's up to us individually to question a family dynamic, because a family dynamic is how it is and how it's been. It's just how it's been, you know, whether it's right or wrong, whether it's something that it comes from your line, or that ain't what you used to do, that ain't what you read in psychology. Family dynamics has trash in it. Family dynamics just has what it is. And that family dynamics is almost like a coping mechanism of this is how we get along. Well, this is how we get along. So it's no, I don't remember about what the rent was, about what money was, about anything else. So there's no arguments. It's almost like communication. You know, the what some, you know, the call and response for some praise and worship people. But it's almost like, you know, okay, so what you're saying is this. You know, you repeat back what you hear the person saying, and make sure there's no misunderstanding of any communication. So just to show you, what was it? Something else? No, I think it was another. Okay, September, where we did another one. And she did no outstanding balance, so there's no outstanding balance because sometimes there will be food consumption. Yes, and there's always. So now it's one of those things I remember. So, wait a minute, I remember something. I remember I ate 1 year, 2 year crackers. Please put that. And she puts Ritz. I think I put no. That's my writing. Ritz, Cheerios, bread, and that's her signature, right? Then by October, zero balance because it's all paid because I've already, if it's 84 cents, it's paid because I'm already having issues about being claimed on taxes and child tax credit, and it's showing up to, and if you keep telling, I'm telling, like, somebody's getting, if you getting, I think it's an average of $6,700 a month, that's separately from the person. That because they're claiming to the courts, no, Your Honor, this is only for me, where it's a separate sheet. $1,100 for the person that's over 54 years of age. This is, in my opinion, how I'm reading it, and it shows a whole separate thing to $6,700, an average of $6,700 a month, except for the month of December for both of those that the person is receiving, and that the person was receiving, and that's a total of like $77,000 in that whole year. Maybe I'm the person that's misreading it, but nobody even, in my opinion, the question was not even asked to, is this true? And the exhibits was in there, and you can't divulge that particular information unless you have the power of attorneys and stuff that I presented the courts. Never came up. Exploitation, you know, and motive to reason why people, you know, if you're claiming retaliation, there's a motive to all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you're claiming retaliation as a motive and you have, you know, paperwork to show, like, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, you know, okay. But now the problem is that half of the exhibits, because I think in my particular case, most of the documents, because I did ask for the case to be consolidated. I did ask for a motion to consolidate, and I believe it's my understanding that it was officially denied because the cases were different. One was an eviction case, which has more of an expedient process, and the other one was different. Mine is not even listed as an eviction case because it's technically, from my understanding, a breach of contract that she's trying to throw me out of the house for telling me to get out of the house versus an eviction to what she actually started doing. I believe that's my understanding. I'm remaining respectful to the court and trying to, you know, let you guys know what's going on at the same time. So these documents, the rent receipts, was right in the other case to say, well, how is she saying that I'm not paying for food, paying for anything, when I'm not, the reason why she locking things up? And no, it's right here. It's in it, but we couldn't access it because it was in the other case. That case does not come up until March 26th at 1 o'clock. Moving forward, hopefully I didn't confuse anybody. Moving forward, making sure I didn't confuse anybody. Oh, where I ended up with this was she signed something, no outstanding balance. And even when she signed no outstanding balance, this was at 5:17 p.m. By 5:20 p.m., if you see the time change, I remember something different. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. Terry Brewer consumed $2.50 of peanut butter crackers on October the 10th, 2025, signed my own name to it. My own name. Did myself. That's $2.50. And anytime if it's $2.50, it could have been just 50 cents. But I always make sure I do we don't question even the amount. It shouldn't be even questionable. That's how much I do over. So if it's $2.50, it was probably 50 cents worth of crackers. Okay. Lastly, me interfering with me interfering with religious practices with the candles and stuff. Yeah. That's not so. So with the candles and everything that's happening, that's going on, no, that's not so. The religious candles, on April the 8th, around April the 8th, I started taking pictures because there was a pattern here, because I was going to the hospital, complaining of migraine. It was very severe. I cannot tell you. Oh man, I can't tell you. The migraines were even if I laying down and being still had to be if I switched aside, it started. I can't even explain the migraine. I can't. The no light. I can't explain it. Yeah, I can't explain it. But I do know that the medication that they gave me was barely enough for me to go to the bathroom and come back to my room. Step by step, centimeter by centimeter. And that was off of these candles that was being lit. And so every time these candles be lit, I'm in my room. And this is what she tells the judge. I'm always in my room. So my air vent, for some reason I have to, so I get like, oh, man, like, and I go out and I'm like, I'm always a sensitive person. I'm not even sure how much time this is over. Normally I pre-record my thing, so please forgive me. I don't know how much time this is over. I've always been the sensitive person when it comes to allergies. There's some people, my allergist, the last allergist I had, or the one before then, she just told me, and she was in Lake Worth, she just said, Mr. Brewer, you just need to drive with she wasn't joking, you just need to drive with you keep your windows up. Allergies range, they do the skin test. They do numbers from 0 to 4, 0 to 5 or something like that, I think 5 is the anaphylactic reaction. Okay. And they do a whole list of environmental, food allergies, blah, blah, blah. Environmentals, I think it was environmentals alone, it was like 80 something reactions. So it's not like I'm anaphylactic to 80 something. But the problem is that these things can build up in your system, and it's not even all the allergies that you can be allergic to. I said that to say that the house, because of the child that you just birthed that was just almost allergic to any particular dust, I was raised with you. Yeah, you had to be very sensitive to chemicals around me. So I'm going up and I'm walking out of the house. I'm walking out of the room and I'm saying, and I call my mother. That's how we were raised. Our family dynamic. Shep, you got something going? Then I look at the candle. That scent is bothering. Can you put that out for me? Now this went on for months to me catching up to the candle being the trigger. I mean, it takes a lot for me to actually start saying it takes a lot. Take a lot. So that candle thing kept sending me to the hospital. There's text messages where it was talking about the candles being out. Please put the candles out. Those things are not, and the thing to do. And no, not putting anybody. I don't want to put this particular person on blast, but I know there was a question in general too. Well, candles are just candles, Well, when you are raised in the family dynamic and you do have a person who's chemical sense to literally to anything, I can't help that. That I can't help. I'm sorry. Can't help it. Jesus' name. Can't help it. But I can tell you that I went to the courts to complain on April the 4th. Getting back to that. April the 4th, I went to the courts to complain. On April the 4th, I went back to the courts to complain about candles such as these. Where we at? There we go. There we go. There we go. Candles such as these. Same candle. Especially that one. Good Lord of mercy. That candle, even this candle, lighted inside the house. Inside the house. Same candle, I believe. So I went to the courts. Those are the camp. Now that was, and then April the 8th, because I started taking pictures of it. So don't tell me that she done told somebody that, it's just praying candles. Because all of a sudden she just started buying praying candles. You buy no praying candles. Where you got them praying? Why you got those praying candles? So then the praying candles came up. So I'm saying, let me just take a picture. Because that's when I noticed it. And sure enough, there's another praying candle. Those praying candles ain't got no scent to them. Those praying candles don't have any scent to them. I had to end off on that. I don't have no problems with the praying candles. I even told the judge, I have the pictures if you like to see the difference of them, that there's a very big difference on these other praying candles, and it's not the praying candles, but it looks like it. So the same person, I'm saying, because she don't have the technology to do as far as changing that rental agreement. So I don't know who helped her with changing the rental agreement and who forged the rental agreement, but gave it to her, and she submitted it to the courts knowing that it was forged, because there was many different emails that I sent her try to send another relative to let them know, look, this is some serious stuff. This is forgery. That's a lie that she told the courts. And that didn't come back until that was April when I noticed that pattern of new candles and praying candles, and we're talking about, so over 8 months, God knows what everybody else been hearing that's not going to come back to me yet. But I tell you one thing, I don't have nothing to do with nobody. We can pray until the sun go down, go back. We can do the apostolic way, and I'm good to go. I am good to go. I am not that person that would interfere with anybody praying or any of that stuff. I don't do it. That's not me. I had to say that. I know I'm spending time on that, but y'all have to know that. I think that's all I have for my notes. But we'll see what happens. But this was and I did tell the judge about right at this time frame was when, so I went exploitation of vulnerable adults. That was exploitation of vulnerable adults to that court. And then right after that, that's when I put this pin mark. It's stuff these are all the filings that I went to the court. That's when she went and bought these candles. I said, don't tell me. And I didn't find that out until February of the next year. Was she telling people? Thank God some other people whispered in my ear that, your mama's saying she taking care of you. Look, she done did some mess. I'm waiting for this to come back. Where I've come in my room where totally all my underwear were totally thrown out. And then new underwear was there, like she just bought me a gift. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. I buy Terry underwear. Terry don't do nothing for him. Do you? Or did you throw them away? Did you throw them away? Terry went to Walmart and bought some more. Yes, those other underwears are they're still there for a reason. But it's unfortunately, and no pun intended, that we're airing dirty laundry. But I think people are making it seem as if this is a family thing, and it's not. This dates back to the racial discrimination in housing. This dates back to me pretty much, I guess, adding people. Well, that'll come out later. Her interest and why she would be a part of helping, which she was actually contracted with Broward County as a nurse. So there are connections. I'm not just saying that just to be saying it, but there are reasonable connections to with Broward County that she does have, and that she did have, that would bring my allegations on top of the money connection with my name, claiming me as a child tax credit that started in 2016. Before then, she was claiming me as a dependent, which she wasn't. Beginning in tax year 2001, I informed Terry that I would no longer claim him as a dependent, even though I still provide more than 50% of his living expenses. Do y'all know what more than 50% of somebody's living expenses is? More than 50% of somebody's living expenses? An individual person? 84 cents. If I'm paying 84 cents on something, more than 50% of my living expenses, and then you say Terry's on disability check, you just generally speak that. You generally speak other stuff about Terry, and you say misleading things, extreme misleading things, to the point that, again, I just have to, because I don't have an attorney, that's a whole nother different area. I thank God for y'all listening. I'm not sure how long this is. Maybe this is just for some type of documentation to what's been happening in the courts and stuff. I pray I've said everything I tried to say. This ain't kosher. It do. Yes, I do feel that what I'm receiving from the courts is still some form of regurgitation of my racial discrimination case in housing. Yes. I'm still mentioning in the courts. Yes. Is it because the paperwork shows paper trail. I was taught the paper trail. I was taught that when I was 16 years old. If there is a paper trail of evidence of financial statements and financial records and people are not looking into it, that causes me to be suspicious, especially if it's right in front of your face. What else? I would be very inquisitive to why aren't we looking into this again? But wait, then you told me I couldn't divulge it because one of the times out of the 18 times I probably asked for help in the courts. Let me make sure one of the times, all these times, I probably did not submit the power of attorney. And then you tell me that you don't know how I got it, and then I wasn't able to divulge the information. But then you still didn't help me any of those other times before then. And it is not supposed to be I'm not supposed to think it by any means like, you know what, this really still could be this ongoing retaliation that people just don't want to help me. Or the financial connections, there's some type of financial connection because there's a difference from claiming someone on taxes as a dependent on top of the healthcare savings account, child tax credit. Totally different things. Do not get that screwed up. Do not get that turned, twisted, or anything. Ask somebody who's a professional tax. They will tell you the difference. Those are two different things. That money started coming in as soon as that case was supposedly be settled and it was back claimed, and like I'm just incompetent. It is what it is. Thank you for listening. Keep me in your prayers. Please look out for an update. Again, I don't know how long this is. I'm not able to edit this, but I was led to do this live, and it's been a while because it's hard to get my thoughts together. I've been saying that for some time. Stay on track. God bless you. Until we meet again, until we see each other again, y'all stay blessed. Keep me in your prayers.